Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video where we are going to be discussing the movie Death Wish, directed by Eli Roth. So, right now, currently the film has about a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I feel that everybody just about has made up their mind about this film and how they're already going to be feeling about this film before they go into it. And my mission today is pretty much to talk about what nobody else is talking about. Let's get started. Hi guys, I'm MD from ObserveMedia. Let's take a look. So, there will be some minor spoilers in this sort of discussion here. I'm not going to be going over everything that happened in the film play by play. I kind of just want to go over the main points that this film I feel represent and does better than just about any other movie that is like it at the same time. And what I mean by that is currently we live in a world where we're pretty much at the peak of superhero movies, right? Like we're pretty much at the peak of where the Avengers, the Justice League, it exists. You have aliens that come down, they can fly. You have people who put on iron suits and can shoot laser beams. Like, the realism has been pretty much thrown out of the window in this regard to what superhero movies in general represent. And I feel that Death Wish is the exact opposite of those films. Death Wish actually makes it a conscious mind to be grounded in realism. And I feel like Death Wish actually makes it much easier to understand everything that goes on without having to dispense any form of disbelief. And the reason and the way that I think that it does this is really simple. It involves the media. It involves the small things that we're involved with on a day-to-day basis that we really don't think about as being a huge involvement in our lives. How many people do you know that watch the news? How many people do you know that take the news as everything in their life, that for 2 hours a day they're sitting there listening to people tell them about what happens around the world and whatnot? Whether you believe that's good or bad, that is a huge part of our society. The media is a colossal part. And that this film, Death Wish, really does go very, very in depth in explaining that and showing that the media does actually have an impact on everything that's going on. You have somebody filming him doing, instead of saying anything, they're just filming this guy shoot up a bunch of people, and then she posts it, it goes viral, it's this huge thing, they give him a cool name. All of this stuff is realistic things that would happen in today's society. I mean, look at Logan Paul and exactly what just happened with him. He went into the suicide forest, and basically it was this huge media explosion. So you better believe that this guy from Chicago in a hoodie shooting people in cold blood is going to get some actual likes, some actual viewership and all that stuff like that, and blow up to be a little bit bigger than it might have been at that current point. So I think that the realism plays a huge part in this, and I think the biggest point of realism is through the media representation. But you also have stuff with character, stuff like that as well. So you have Bruce Willis's character who loses his family, or just his wife really, but then his daughter is in a comatose. And he's feeling at this point like he has almost nothing to lose. So he easily acquires some firearms and then goes out there and starts murdering people. But is he amazing at it? Of course not, because he's some 40 to 50-year-old guy who has never held a gun in his life, and now he's just getting his butt kicked in a lot of situations. The best example for this is when he fires the gun in his first combat situation, and he actually ends up cutting his hand because he doesn't know how to hold a gun right. Now this translates later in the film too, where he makes many other rookie mistakes that we would see because we watch a lot of crime drama, but of course he wouldn't, because he's a doctor. Why would he know that these are things that you need to do? So realistically, this is all things that would happen in the film. He doesn't get shot and then suddenly he's okay the next scene and stuff like that. And though you can say that a lot of the stuff that happens in the film, I would say 2 to 3 good scenes are pretty convenient in terms of the plot moving forward and whatnot. But I think where it keeps itself grounded is in the idea where most people don't expect some guy to just pull out a gun and start shooting you. So most people aren't prepared to stop him when those things happen. So we're going to be moving on. We've established that pretty much everything is based around this this media realism that exists in our society nowadays, I want to move on to sort of the end of the film, where he sort of, after everything that he tries to accomplish, he accomplishes. It basically gets to the point where he quits. Like, he's done. I'm done. Which realistically any man would do. And throughout the film, he understands that this is not something that is long term. You see people like Captain America, people like Thor, they're all in it for the superhero journey. He's very much understanding after the first few events that, wow, if I keep this up, I could easily die, and then the only thing that is in this film that is keeping me tethered to this world, which is my daughter, would be all alone, and I can't have that. So after he finishes everything up, he quits, and then the media kills it. You know what I mean? The media is not going to keep talking about this. The media dies about it, which is the same case for any other shooter that exists across the United States right now. If somebody gets shot, if a school gets shot, it's a big thing for 2 weeks and then it disappears. And that's exactly what the media is doing in this film. And I feel like that is the best example of realism that we got featuring the media in a long time in any film that's come out recently. So, moving on from there, a lot of people want to talk about how this film is actually very poorly timed because of all the school shootings that have been going on. However, if you look a little deeper, I feel that at one point, yes, you're supposed to feel for Bruce Willis and you're supposed to understand, be like, oh, well, I appreciate Bruce Willis and I understand the things that he is going through. So I understand why he's doing the things that he's doing. But at no point are you supposed to go, okay, well, it's still totally cool. It's still totally, like, without question cool that he goes out there. And that's what the big media exposure is for. They go in there a lot of the times to tell you that this is not okay. He's taking the law into his own hands. He's murdering people. And nobody knows his reasons. You're the only one as the audience member who knows his reasons. So if randomly some guy that you don't know shows up and starts killing people on the street, though they may be bad people, most people are going to be like wary of this person. And it shows very well in this film how easy it is to get some firearms, to kill some people, and to do that. So I don't think that this film is actually poorly timed at all. I just think that people are getting hung up on the fact that he is, in fact, the protagonist and therefore has to be the good guy in this situation, which has never been Eli Roth's style. It's never really been his conjecture to be like, man, good guy equals protagonist, and it's more gray than that. Because, as I've explained, Bruce Willis's character in this film is someone you want to root for because of his tragedy. But at the same time, it's not acceptable. You have to understand in this world it's not acceptable that this is for, So I think that this film does a very good job at poking fun of the law system and the gun system in society nowadays, and I don't think that that's an accident. But yeah, guys, tell me what you guys thought of this movie. If you absolutely hated it, I totally understand. Personal feelings aside, you have to admit that this is something that the film does very well in terms of realism, in terms of creating this style that exists and mirroring the media that we have in today's society. So yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe to us. If you're liking these discussion-based videos, you can let us know, and we will see you guys next time.